What's going on, everybody? It's Donnie. Sometimes it's good to make these videos when you're out of the heat of the moment. Otherwise, you just start ranting shit. You just start saying anything crazy. Trade him, trade him, trade him. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't do that, and I waited a couple hours. I got the stats in front of me, but I did tell you guys I was gonna make a video. So here, this video is, of course. Thank you for coming out to the stream as always. The stream is always great, man. I love just having the stream with you guys, but you know that the streams get hard, just to do them if the Knicks play the way they do. 86-105 is how we lost today. And I'm gonna be honest. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is like, you know, I don't know if the Knicks don't believe in themselves. I don't know if they're intimidated, but one thing I know for sure, if they keep playing like this, it's over. It's done. And that's crazy because the way this Knicks team is, they are better than the Miami Heat. The Heat are not that good. They're not. They're gritty though, but they're not that good. Trust me. They beat a broken Milwaukee team, and Middleton has always been shaky as far as consistency goes, and Giannis was injured, so like I'm not too worried about them beating the Bucks on a down year for them. But listen. There are guys on this Knicks team right now that are playing for their future. If I look at the starting lineup of Randall, Robinson, Brunson, Harden, Barrett, if there's a guy playing for their future right now on this team, I think you can include Julius Randle in that conversation. RJ Barrett, not so much. Of course, not Brunson. And Josh Hart will stay. He's done enough to be here long term. Randall's looking... Randall again looks bad. Everybody can see it. It's to the point where it's like he's ineffective. He's ineffective on offense. It's even worse on defense. It is horrible on defense. Tom Thibodeau came out and said that he thought that the defense was pretty good. I have no idea what he's watching, but you can't watch this game and just feel like Randall has just lost it. Like, we had enough time to rest. We played a 3 o'clock game, and that's inexcusable really for a 3 o'clock game because at this point, you waited most of the day to play, and you came out just easily. They were losing by 20 pretty much by the end of the first quarter. So basically from the end of the first quarter, the game was over. I don't know what these guys were doing the night before or leading up to this game, but something needs to give. And these guys need to fight. And Randall is part of that problem because he doesn't seem engaged in the game. And this is going to be a longer video because I got a lot to say. And I'll go over everybody. Randall doesn't seem engaged in this game. It doesn't really seem like he's even trying to make the proper basketball play. He's just out here doing whatever. And really, that's what it's kind of been for him. Yes, I know he's been hurt, but it's kind of Randall doing whatever, and then you hope that everybody else just picks it up. And if Randall ends with 18, 19, points, then you can say, well, he had his 19 points, 20 points, and 10 rebounds. He did his job. But you could tell how inefficient it would have been if that's what he would have gotten. He didn't even get that today. And I'm sitting here saying, man, like, if I looked at Randall and I said, you know what, you're having an off quarter, who can I replace you with? And the next guy would be Obi Toppin, and I don't think you can put Obi Toppin in the game right now either. You know what I'm saying? So when I started this video, I said people are playing for their futures now. It's a problem. That power forward position is a problem. Like, I like Randall a lot. I made that video where I said he could be all-time Knicks great. But we're in the playoffs now, and I'm saying that this team now is good enough to make the playoffs all the time. Like, if this is the best that Randall got in the playoffs, I'm saying you have to consider trying to move him, And I don't want to jump on a trade bandwagon too early, but it's like the dude is playing horrible. Like, it's hard to watch him play, and really, say to yourself that this is a guy we're trying to rely on to win games in the playoffs. We could go to the Eastern Conference Finals. We are right there. We are right there. We can beat the Heat, no problem. I say we can beat the Heat in 6 games, But this is the problem. Randall doesn't seem engaged. And unfortunately, Brunson is getting double teamed all the time. So somebody else has to start making shots. And we really don't have a good 3-point shooter right now that's a starter. We don't have that, and that's something we need to invest in. We need to invest in outside shooting. But going back to Randall, if Randall doesn't have it going right now, we're in trouble. We are in big trouble because there's nobody at his position that can replace him. And I'm sitting here saying, like, man, if we can beat the Heat and we don't have the caliber of power forward, you have to start looking elsewhere, even if he doesn't score 20 a game. Because there's like three guys on this team that average 20 who are not playing that well. I think it's Randall, Brunson, and I believe it's RJ as well. So this is weird to me. Like, I can't understand how Randall starts the games the way he does. Crazy fouls, turnovers, ridiculous shots. You know what I'm saying? This is getting us nowhere. And it's to the point now where I feel like if we don't have a power forward good enough that we can rely upon, maybe we go for a different power forward, and maybe that will at least help the flow of the game because it throws the rhythm off. You know what I'm saying? There's no rhythm with this team. We're not even passing the ball. We're doing isolation basketball, and then we're just trying to shoot threes. We're not winning the game like that. That's just desperation. Mitchell Robinson is doing the best he can. You can only do so much. You get the rebound the first time, the second time, it's not working. It's not working. He's not really included in this video. Like, I'm not really talking stats. I'm just talking the player right now because we're down 2-1. The stats for this game don't really matter. Jalen Brunson is getting doubled. Jalen Brunson is getting doubled every time he gets the ball. So he can try and dish, but the guys he's dishing to really aren't hitting their shots, and they're not really open like that. And I don't know if we don't have confidence, but that ball is not moving. So it's like for Jalen Brunson to even have something going, he needs to make his own shots, which he is, but he needs help. He needs something. He's no way he can't beat the Heat on his own. You know what I'm saying? He can't beat the Heat on his own. And it's like he needs somebody to step it up with him. And I don't understand where RJ Barrett is sometimes. The dude is, I know I was going to mention that, but he's a negative 32 on the floor, partially because he doesn't call for the ball too much. He doesn't really take control. He doesn't, ask for the ball. He kind of just waits around, and then maybe I'll do something, maybe I don't. And that's part of the problem. There's nobody on this team besides Brunson that actually takes initiative to try and create something. You guys are standing around there hoping that he does something, and then maybe it sparks you guys into contributing too. It's part of the problem. It's part of the problem, And I don't know what RJ Barrett is expecting out of this series, because for his future, I think because he's kind of gone under the radar in this playoff series now, that it's actually safer for him because he's not taking the majority of the shots. But then again, here's a guy who can average 20 as well, right? So it's like there's got to be somebody that steps up and says, like, you know what, I'm going to take this game over now. I'm going to keep this team in it. These guys are not believing that they can even beat the Heat from the first quarter on, then, there's no point of being here. And speaking of being here, Josh Hart, is definitely going to be here after this year. But, he cannot be the guy who drives to the hoop. He cannot be the guy constantly from half court or whatever, even our half, from our basket to basket. No, he needs to pass the ball. He needs to pass the ball, and he needs to keep his temper under control, and he needs to be able to hit them shots that he usually does from three. He hit a few today, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you that Josh Hart used to be the energizer off the bench, and then Grimes went down, and now that Grimes went down, Josh Hart, is starting because, Grimes can't guard Jimmy, and Josh Hart did a really good job of that, I thought. That's not the problem. The problem is that we can't find offense. We have no idea where to find our offense, and we need to run plays for that. And that's on Tom Thibodeau too, because Tom Thibodeau needs to be able to figure he needs to be able to figure out where he can get guys into their spots. If we're running pick and rolls, if we're running plays, whatever we're doing, that's on Tom Thibodeau. I don't see any of that. I don't even think we run plays. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. And we're losing terribly right now. You know what I'm saying? But Josh Hart, cannot be the guy constantly from basket to basket because it's not working anymore. The Miami Heat are smart. They're adjusting to our play. they're watching our play. They know who the guys are that can score. They know what we're trying to do. So we need to mix it up. You know what I'm saying? We can't have that same predictable style of basketball, you know. And then you have guys like Obi Toppin who you can't even put Obi in the game right now. Here's a guy who will probably not be with the team much longer because they're gonna invest. They're gonna invest. The Knicks are gonna invest in some offense, bro. I'm serious. The Knicks are gonna start investing, and Obi is definitely a guy who probably won't be here. All of a sudden, those threes are not going in anymore. You really don't look as valuable as you did. Like they're not gonna trade Randall to start Obi because Obi is really not good enough, to start at that position. And it's really like, you know what? If the Knicks are at this level now, if you want to do something, you got to get some help for Brunson. You got to get help. You got to get help. And this is not working. Right now, where Obi Toppin is, it's neither here nor there for him. Defense is not that good. Threes are not really falling. He's very limited else otherwise, even though I think he can help a different team, maybe a non-playoff team. But here's where the development aspect of Obi in the NBA just hasn't arrived yet, and it's kind of late now because the Knicks really are trying to do something. And if both Randall and Obi aren't performing, then we have a big problem, and that's what we have right now. You got guys like Ihart as well, who when they play well, but he just played bad. He had, how many fouls did Ihart have? Oh, Ihart only really had 2 fouls, but he really didn't do anything memorable for me to say that he even deserves a praise. Like nobody really deserves a praise. I can even go to Quickly. Quickly hits a couple of threes and starts going like this. And we're still down like 15, 16 points. You know what I'm saying? It's like, quick. At least, stay locked in. Like, stop celebrating shit that don't matter because we were still down and we needed him. We needed more of that when you started hitting some shots and you went cold again. But he also hasn't had a good playoffs, Quickly. So it's like, you know, every single player on this team, really, besides Brunson, right now in this series, just really hasn't played that good. I mean, RJ had a pretty good game when we tied the series up, but RJ has gone quiet again. There's no consistency anywhere, bro. There's no consistency anywhere. And look, for the Knicks, I believe that the Knicks can still win this series. But these guys got to sit down together and say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to lock down on defense, and we're not going to allow any more threes. And I tell you, that will keep the games already closer. And then from there, we got to move the ball and not be as predictable. You do that, the Knicks are right back into this series. But right now, we're making the Heat look better than what they are. Like the Heat are really not that good. The Heat aren't as good as the Knicks are making them look. But if the Knicks don't really have anything going for them, then, the Heat will get us out of here. And I do believe that the Knicks can absolutely still win. But they need to have some consistent offense. I have no idea, besides Brunson, who else is going to make a bucket. But I think it should be RJ. I don't think it should be Randall. I think RJ just needs to be aggressive. The referees are kind of going to be against us, but that's not a good excuse. And from there on out, our defense needs to be there. We cannot give up any more threes against these guys. That's all they're really doing. They're trying to shoot threes and they feed Jimmy the ball. That's all it is. And we somehow haven't figured that out yet. Everybody can see it. It's not like it's that oblivious. It's obvious, really. So I don't understand. But a lot of these guys are playing for their futures. I would say at least Randall. I would say Obi. I would say maybe even Hartstein. They're playing for their future right now. You're playing for your future. Playing for your future. Give the Knicks a reason to keep you on this team because we could use some help and we have assets to get it. So don't be the player that, underperforms in these playoffs and you'll be sent off to a different team while this Knicks team continues to build because we're right there and making the Eastern Conference Finals. And I believe we can still win as long as we do what I just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? And that's my rant. I didn't even get mad about it because I had time to cool off. You know what I'm saying? But these Knicks, you need to put up a better performance. I don't care. Game 4, I need to see a better performance. I need to see a better performance, man. It's unacceptable to come out the way they did, and they know that. They're way better than that, and I think they're better than the Heat. But there's no way that you're going to beat the Heat coming out the way you did. Y'all did. So work on that. Take some rest Monday. get locked in, and we will be back. But it's on them. It's your boy Don. Peace. I'm out.